Conflict Desert Storm, developed by Pivotal Games for the PC, PlayStation 2, Xbox and GameCube, is a tactical squad-based shooter set during the Gulf War. It's a game I grew up playing and I remember it fondly, although I'd never completed it prior to this review, so my opinion on it has changed a little compared to how I used to feel about it. Before getting into things, I first want to point out that the PC port doesn't run very well on modern systems and needs a few fixes in order to run properly. You'll need to limit the frame rate to 60 frames per second, and if you want to run the game in a resolution above 1440 by 1080, you'll need to do some registry edits. I'll talk about that more later on in the video. The game is pretty light on story. It sort of tries to have a narrative, but the characters don't really have any proper moments. They have some personality in the cutscenes.
Alpha 2 leader, this is Alpha 2-1, over!
Roger that, Alpha 2-1. What's your status, over?
The Iraqis have been making probing attacks for the past hour. Don't know how much longer I can hold this position, over!
Understood, Alpha 2-1. Withdraw to position.
But the story is more centered around the conflict of the Gulf War than any one character. This makes all of the characters feel forgettable and replaceable, because they literally are. If one of them dies during a mission, they're replaced from a list of other characters. You'll either be destroying armor, Scud missiles, or bridges throughout the game, as well as dealing with infantry. The first mission is a rescue mission, and shows you how valuable your squad is. It's probably not too fun for player 2 though. You can pick between playing as the British SAS or the American Delta Force. All this really changes is some of the voice acting, character models and mission texts. I mostly have footage of the SAS campaign there.
Roger that, Voodoo 3. See you later, over.
Roger that, Voodoo 3. See you later, over.
Foley is being held in a small building northeast of the bridge. Secure the position, then rescue Foley.
Foley is being held in a small building northeast of the bridge. Secure the position, then rescue Foley.
Before each mission starts, you get a little intro cutscene to set the level up, and then after that you get text briefing, followed by satellite imaging of the area and directions on how to complete the level. Each mission feels varied. Some are in desert areas, some in military bases, while others are more urban focused. It really didn't get stale. Some levels will even reward you for exploring. One level had a keycard in an area that opened up in an armory full of weapons, and this wasn't even the first time something like this happened. Some missions are needlessly hard though, and have infinitely spawning enemies until you reach their spawn area. This can get very annoying on one particular mission, where you don't get a resupply, and might be starting with little medkits and get overrun easily. Oh my god, fuck this mission. What a fucking shit mission. Oh, what a fucking shit mission. Don't feel bad about using the level select cheat. Hold select and type Desert Watch. Originally I started to record the PlayStation 2 version of the game, but eventually switched to the PC version of the game for a few reasons, the main reason being the aiming. The game feels needlessly harder on a controller over using a mouse, so playing on PC I felt like I can actually aim properly, so then I don't die for like unfair reasons. Another reason is that I'm able to play the game in 1080p, which makes for a much better video. Oh, that's right, I was going to talk about patching up the PC version of the game. Because this is an older game, some of the logic is tied to the frame rate, so you'll get weird issues like this.
Yo!
Artyom!
Yo! Whoa! Our homeboy.
Or your aiming will be awful. What I did to get the game working was I installed RiverTuner Statistics Server, which came with MSI Afterburner, added a profile that targets the desertstorm.exe, and then set the frame rate limit to 60 frames per second. By default, the game supports a maximum resolution of 1440 by 1080, but we can increase that. Open the registry editor, copy and paste either of the two things in the description, and then you want to right click resolution index and click modify. Then make sure you have decimal selected and enter one of the numbers on screen for the resolution that you want.
And look at what it looks like now. Look at how it looks fucking fine. It's fixed. Here's the one here. Okay, listen.
That's much better. I want to cover a little bit about the other versions of the game. Just a forewarning, but I haven't touched the Xbox version of the game. But I have read that it has muffled rifle sounds, and it's also the earliest version of the game. It also features 4-player co-op like the GameCube version, whilst the PS2 version only supports 2-player co-op and the PC version only supports deathmatch mode. With the GameCube version, if you're able to emulate it with Dolphin, you can play it online with up to 4 other players. One thing to know about the GameCube version though is that it has altered cutscenes. If you want a full breakdown of the differences between the games though, there's a link to an article about it in the description. Out of all the versions, I suggest the PC version if you want the added bonus of using a mouse and don't mind missing out on co-op, or I'd suggest the GameCube version if you have one or more friends you want to try the game out with. The game really does feel like it's best played with the co-op.
お前はもう死んでいる。何?
And with Dolphin, you basically get online multiplayer, so I mean you can't really lose. Since I'm talking about the different versions of the game, I thought I'd give a little look at the J2ME version of the game. It follows the same story as the game and has some of the same missions. A few are missing or altered though. The third mission you have to use a sniper rifle against the guards, otherwise you get gunned down. Oddly enough, both Bradley and Foley have snipers in the mission, which sort of goes against the characters having their own unique abilities. It still features character switching and you're able to issue a basic follow and stop command. Dying in this version of the game just causes the game over, and there's no squad level up or replacement system here. I'm not sure if the emulator I was using had issues running in-game audio, or if none exists, but the title screen music works, so I assume it doesn't have any more than that. Comparing it to other J2ME games, the graphics are awful, and I'm just only about to tell what is being displayed. The game was only made by a few people, so take that as you will. I only recommend playing it if you just have to play more Desert Storm. The game features 4 playable characters: Bradley, Foley, Connors, and Jones. Bradley specialises in using rifles and pistols. Foley specialises in using sniper rifles and pistols. Connors specialises in machine guns and anti-tank. That's rocket launchers, RPGs, and grenades. Jones specialises in using rifles and combat engineering. That's C4 and mines. All 4 characters are capable of using medical kits and healing each other. If a character goes down, you have around a minute or 2 to revive them with a medical kit, or they'll die permanently and be replaced with a rookie. I keep talking about characters getting replaced, but what does that actually mean? As you progress through the game, the 4 characters will increase in skill level and be awarded medals.
Experience increase. Experience increase. Promoted. Experience increase. Medal awarded. Skill increase. Experience increase.
The replacement characters are even worse than a vanilla soldier, so ideally you want to prevent them dying. I've never lost a soldier without trying though. so the feature doesn't really get used properly, since every level has way too many medkits. Some weapons you need to be stationary to fire, while others are able to be fired while moving, so you have to keep that in mind while moving around the level, although I found that this wasn't really present in the GameCube version. Each character is able to give the other 3 commands, such as ordering them to follow, ordering them to hold position, directing them to a specific position, engaging fire on enemies or disengaging. This seems to tell how aggressive they are, but it won't prevent them from attacking altogether, which was kind of a shame. Switching between characters on the PC version is done by pressing 1, 2, 3 or 4. On the PS2 version you use the up and down arrows, same as on the GameCube, and I assume Xbox version as well. In the tutorial, you'll be taught some things that you'll only use once or twice, mainly being the artillery or laser designator. In fact, I think I only used the artillery once during the campaign.
もしもし、エアストライクください。
Target coordinates received. Strike inbound. Over.
Some missions, you'll gain another squad member that isn't able to be controlled, but this only happens on a few missions. You're still able to issue them commands, but if you select them you aren't able to input anything besides switching off of them. If they die or are the last one alive, it's mission over. Sometimes, your squad mates will decide to throw a grenade. Sometimes this will kill enemy infantry, but other times, it gets you and them killed. Or they'll be knocked down mid-throw and just drop the live grenade, killing you all. Some missions, I just throw my grenades out to stop the AI from using them. I refuse to pick any more up. What the fuck? Finally killed myself with a fucking grenade. The game also features vehicles, although you only get 2 missions with them. You have a jeep fitted with a machine gun and rocket launcher, and another mission has you driving an M2 Bradley. I was sort of disappointed with the jeep, as it was frustrating to use, and it felt safer to just spend most of the mission on foot, and falling back to use the missile launcher to destroy armour. It was also annoying how whoever was on the rocket launcher would fire them without being set to aggressive, wasting the very few rockets the level gives you. The tank was fun to use though, even if it did have only a few shells. One thing to note though, is that the jeep controls on PC are so bizarre. Tapping the W key once will make the jeep drive forwards for like a second, so it doesn't decelerate immediately after letting go of W, whereas the tank does. The game also features a laughably simplistic and bad stealth system. There's even a mission that showcases stealth in the game, and while it's awful, they go to the effort of giving everyone silenced weapons, except for Connor's. He still has his big fuck off LMG, and because you can't make him hold fire, he'll fire it off in the mission, where they explicitly tell you not to set the alarm off. Now, maybe I'm just bad at stealth in this game, but you get spotted almost immediately, and I've only ever rarely gotten a stealth kill. You are able to stealthily kill someone with a knife, but you'll never be given a good opportunity for this, except for maybe 2 areas on the second mission.
Hey, Victor!
The tutorial tells you that firing a rocket launcher at the back of an armour is the ideal way to destroy them, but I found that firing at the front or side was fine for like 90% of armour in the game. Still, it was a nice idea for them to try. The game only lets you save twice each mission, which is just enough. It was nice to have a quick save option, but also for it to feel balanced. But I only ever really needed to save once at most each mission anyway. It wouldn't be a Conflict Desert Storm video if I didn't talk about the co-op. Like I said before, PS2 only gets 2-player co-op, while GameCube and Xbox get up to 4 players. How does co-op work though? It works basically like the single player game, except the other player controls your other squad members. If you start the game with 4 players, it will skip you right to mission 3, and if you try to load a save that doesn't have enough squad members in that mission to support 4 players, it won't let you load it. You can't even use cheats to access these levels. Co-op is arguably the best way to play Conflict Desert Storm. You won't get as many unfair deaths due to a stupid grenade throw or squad members being miles away from you, plus it's just more fun. The PC's multiplayer mode feels pretty standard, and I don't really feel like there's much to say about it. The only notable feature is that it lets you play as the Russians and the Iraqis, It features custom-made maps for the mode and has destructible boxes that open the level up more, but I wasn't able to play it with anyone because it requires port forwarding. It also supports LAN play, but good luck finding a group of friends to play this with. GameCube multiplayer is really easy to set up. All you need to do is install Dolphin and set up a games folder that includes the Conflict Desert Storm ROM. Then if you're the host, go into Tools, Start Netplay, set the connection type to Traversal, set a nickname for yourself, tick Show in Server Browser, set the region, enter a name and password for the session, select the game from the list and then hit Host. If you're joining a game, then you need to click Tools, browse Netplay Sessions, find your friend's server and enter the password. Once you're both in the same room, go into the Assign Controller Ports and make sure each player is assigned the correct GameCube port. Then the host needs to click Start and you're good to go. The only issue I noticed is lower audio quality compared to the PS2 and PC versions. It could just be an emulation issue though. Everything is synced between players, even the lag. Yeah, that's right, if your friend is running a shitty MacBook with no thermal cooling, then you're gonna have a bad time. Don't worry though, this is a feature. While recording the Netplay gameplay, I realised the aiming on the GameCube kinda sucks. It tries to lock the crosshair in the middle of the screen. Use the timestamp to avoid spoilers. Okay, ready? Yeah, the game has a pretty lackluster ending. The last two missions are fun, like you break into General Aziz's castle and then you have to destroy the SAM sites protecting his bunker. Then you need to laser designate it. He'll run out and try and escape. Wait, you don't think General Aziz might be... After you extract, you get an ending cutscene that is a news report saying that Iraqi forces have surrendered to the UN and the Gulf War is over. You even get a call back to Mission 2, the news helicopter. No one will know, right? Anyway, you then get a commendation by the US Army. Wait, I thought I was playing as the SAS. The models there are the SAS. They recorded British audio in other areas of the game. Why not the ending? Oh, and your reward for completing the game? What, the ending scene wasn't enough for you? Yeah, you don't even unlock the level select or cheats. You have to enter them yourself with a code. With all the game's ups and downs, I'd recommend at least giving it a try. It's not too expensive on Steam or GOG. Just remember that you'll need to do a few tweaks of your own to fix it up. Even that might not be enough to have a fully smooth experience though. And you won't get in co-op unless you play it on console or emulate it. Thanks for watching, and I may end up doing the sequel in another video. That's only a maybe. Also, this game gets extra points for dynamic music.
Fire!
Oh no! You can fail the training. I'll try not to kill too many people this time.
I am Master Sergeant Johnson, the senior drill instructor for the final stage of your training. Step up to the free firing plate and we'll begin the exercise. Ahead of you is a group firing range. Pick up your weapons now, men. Good. I'm gonna activate 20 targets now. I want all of you to get a feel for your weapons.
Why did I do that?
Switch to burst mode, soldier! Right! I'm gonna activate a series of targets up ahead! Let's see how many you can bag! Ready? Begin!
Oh, fuck. No!